Okay, so I should probably start by explaining how, on junior mode at least, how Bill's AI works. There's no strategy involved to it. He will just move to a random spot that he legally can. So right here at the start, there's a 1 in 5 chance that he'll go to any of the 5 spots that are open to him. It's completely random, there's no strategy involved. The exception to that is that he will always take any capture that's presented to him. So for example, if I was to move this geese down right here, he will always take it no matter what. That's the exception to the rule. Otherwise, he's just going to move randomly. So here, for instance, if I move this geese right here, you can see there's 4 different spots open to him. It's a 1 in 4 chance he'll go to any of them. So the way this strategy works is you just abuse it. You abuse his algorithm so that he's essentially baited into going into a corner and trapping himself because he takes a capture that he shouldn't have. To start with, we're going to do the moose, or the left side, which of course is exactly the same as the raccoon, or the right side, but you just invert it. So you always start by moving this geese right here, move it 1 space to the right. And what you want him to do, it's a 1 in 5 chance, is to move to the space directly next to it, this one right here. And basically you just have to keep restarting until he does it.
Okay, if we start over.
And since it's a 1 in 5 chance, it shouldn't take too long.
Okay, if we start over.
Alright, so he has moved where we want him to go, and on his next move, if he's not presented with some other capture, he always will jump into this corner here. So what you need to do is, I like to just move, some arbitrary piece. It doesn't matter. We'll just move this one here, and he'll take the capture. So to trap him, you'll notice that we have these 2 pieces right here, this goose and this goose, and if we move them both down 1 space, he'll be trapped. To start with, we want to move the right one down 1. He will always make that move because it's the only one available to him. And now what we want him to do on the next move is to move back into this corner. If he does that, we've won. We can just move this goose down and we win. The problem is he has 4 other spaces that he can move to, so at this point it's a 1 in 4 chance. What you want to do on this move is move this center piece down here, because if you don't, he can just take these 2 jumps. Moving this piece down will block him. So we do that, and he did not move where we wanted him to go. So you just have to keep restarting until he does just that.
Okay, if we start over.
Okay, so here he's back in spot. We do the exact same thing as before, and hope he goes where he wants us to. There we go. So he moved back to the corner, and it's a 1 in 4 chance that he will, because he just picks 1 spot at random that he can go to. And here it's as simple as moving it down.
You're pretty good. Well,
that was,
would you look at that. His eyes
what, 2 or 3
red.
moves?
That is some pig you got yourself there.
And I think that that is faster than playing the game the normal way. Just keep restarting until you get him to move where you want him to.
Okay, if we start
now, obviously,
over.
the raccoon is the exact same thing, but you just flip it. So I will try to get that just for demonstration. Alright, so this is where we want him. We want him to jump into the corner. We do the same things before, move some piece, it doesn't matter. He jumps into the corner. You have these 2 pieces here, and you need to move them down 1 in order to trap him. You start by moving the piece that's farther away from Bill. He always moves there, it's the only space open to him. Move the center piece down to block that jump. We want him to move back into this space. And then all you got to do is move this piece down and you win.
Ah, you beat me.
Now obviously the pig is the trickiest of the 3 to get. Now obviously the pig is the trickiest of the 3 to get. We need to bait him into this spot right here, this corner. And to do that, we set up a little chain right down the middle for him to get into. So I'm going to show you what our board will look like in its state right before Bill will take the bait and make the jumps. Okay, so this is what we need to get our board to look like. There's two interesting things here. One is this middle column here. You'll notice it goes empty space, geese, empty space, geese, empty space. So what happens is when Bill moves into this space right here, his next move will be 2 captures and landing right here, because he always takes every single capture he can. He'll go straight up capturing this piece, and then straight up again capturing the next piece, and he'll end up in that corner where we want it to be. The other interesting thing is this piece right here and this piece right here. Both of them need to be in these exact spots. I will explain why in a minute. But at this point, you just need to get him into this space right here so that he'll make those jumps. And this is a safe position. Nobody can get captured here, at least nobody that we don't want to get captured. So you can just take this piece and move it back and forth until Bill winds up where you want him to be. Alright, so here he's where we need him to be. He's on his next move, he's going to take these 2 captures. We just move some piece and get him to take it. And from here, it's a lot like it was before. We trap him in much the same way, it's just turned on its side. You want to move this piece to the right. He will move down there because it's the only space available to him, and this is where those 2 pieces I talked about earlier come into play. You need this one here and this one here. And why is that? Well, this piece prevents him from taking a diagonal capture. If this wasn't here, you'll notice that he could jump this piece and end up right in this corner where we don't want him to be. So that's why you need this piece here. You need this piece to block off this capture, which is the next move we're going to make, because otherwise he would just capture this piece and end up straight in the middle. So we move this to the left to prevent that capture, and now there are only 2 spaces he can go to. We hope that he goes to the one we want. And in this case, he did just that. Otherwise, you would have to restart and keep going. And from here, just move one of these pieces over, and you've won.
You win.
There are a couple of more advanced techniques that I've discovered that I'm going to talk about here. The first one is when you're moving it into the pig position. You'll notice it can take a while to get Bill into this space where you want him to be. So what you can do is try to bait him into that spot by using this piece here. You just have to remember that Bill will always take any capture available to him. So for instance, if let's say the pig is in the bottommost piece in the wolf spot, if we were to move the goose into this spot right here, and remember the pig is right here in the wolf spot, then his next move would be a straight capture all the way up into this corner. And that makes it go by faster because we've baited him into doing what we want him to. And this is a little bit, more adaptive. Just anything that would get him into this spot right here, we can do. Now you want to make sure you don't get this piece captured accidentally in the process. So right here is a good example. I can move my goose into this piece right here, and then that will start off a capture chain that ends in this corner. He'll take the capture, he'll jump into this piece, and from there it's the same as before. Just like that. The other more advanced thing I want to talk about is you can actually work on multiple sides at one time. And by that I mean just kind of set up for 2 and let whatever Bill's moves are determine which one you're going to take. So I start out by working on both the moose and the raccoon at the same time. You start out the same way you would with the moose, move this piece over here, and then you'll notice that he's actually moving into the spot we would need him for the raccoon. The first move we need Bill to make for a raccoon is 1 space to the right, and that's what he just did. So from here, you can kind of change your course of action and go for a raccoon victory by moving this piece here. Then he'll take that jump, and then you can just proceed as normal, as if you were doing the raccoon all along. And I've won. It's the same as a normal raccoon. You just wait to see what his moves are, and then you jump into that course of action. Now we've just won the raccoon. Next we're going to be working on both the pig and the moose at the same time. So you'll start out by working as if you were only doing the pig. You move this piece down. And from here I notice that Bill is actually moving into the spot we want him for the moose. So for here we can just take the opportunity and work on the moose instead. Moving this piece over, he takes the capture, and then you would just proceed as normal. If you're working on both the pig and the moose, and Bill doesn't go where you want him to, like here, that's not the right setup place for the moose, then you would just proceed as normal for the pig. As a bonus here, I'm going to play through a full round of Fox and Geese and try to get all three. So I start out, I work with the moose and the raccoon, just do whichever opportunity presents itself first. So here he moves in to the raccoon space. I start working with the raccoon. And just like that, we won the raccoon.
You're pretty good. Well, would you look at that? His eyes turned red. That is some pig you got yourself there.
And next up, we're going to do
Okay,
the
we start
pig
over.
and the moose. He did not move into the moose spot, so I'm going to set up for the pig instead. I'm going to try to bait him with this goose right here. Alright, it worked. He moved right where we needed him to. And now we're going to try to trap him. And just like that, we won the pig.
You win. Another win. Another set of red eyes.
Okay,
And finally, we would
start
do the
over.
moose. And we just have to keep restarting until he
Okay,
moves
we
one
start
space to
over.
the left where we need him to
Okay,
be.
we start over. Okay, we start over.
Alright, there we go. He takes the capture. He did not go where we wanted him to. We just
Okay,
have to
we
keep
start
restarting
over.
until he does.
Okay, we start over.
Alright, there we go. All three
Good
rounds of
job.
Fox and Geese.
Another
Super,
win.
super
Another
fast.
set of red eyes.